I'm a nonprofit watchdog in Mendocino County. I've done it for a decade or so, and I do it with Snark. Once in a while, I take a little shit for that Snark, but it's never been benchmarked until now. Like most things, Snark has a birthday. It all started with a snarky book about snark hunting. It's written by Lewis Carroll. You might recognize that name. He's the creator of Alice in Wonderland. First, we'll look at some snark habitat. In this case, it's Mendocino County in Northern California, my native home. This is a proclamation by our elected officials, so take it with a grain of salt. As you can see, I am surrounded by artists. Some of them are fine artists, others are con artists. Snark has some benefits. It builds creativity. That's according to Harvard University. So Snark belongs here. If you want Snark, you'll need bait. In this case, it's a Form 990 from the Internal Revenue Service. Here it is. For nonprofits to avoid paying tax, they need to file one of these every year. So it's not a tax return. Now, once these forms are filed, they're open to public inspection, each and every one of them. It says so right on the form. And whoever files them swears an oath to their accuracy under penalty of perjury. Some people hide these forms from the nonprofit's governing body. They do it by saying the quiet part out loud on the form itself by simply checking a box like this. There's a way to avoid snark bait by checking the right box. Here's an example. Look at the bottom row in red. No hidden Form 990s. When the right box gets checked, there's no snark bait and no snarks. Now we'll look at some major snark bait with that red line at the top and the wrong box checked. Now we'll look at one snark in blue on the right. And here's the story behind it, for example. Now for two snarks, where that blue bar is twice as high, with 2 stories behind it. And 3 snarks, where the blue bar maxes out, with 3 stories behind it. Now we'll look at some case studies. Starting with Mendocino County Public Broadcasting, KZYX and Z, Mendocino County's leading public radio station. And snark bait, right off the bat, in 2010. In 2013, I took the bait. I did it with a letter to the editor in a local newspaper. It wasn't snarky at all. That was in 2013. That letter had no effect, so I published 2 stories. They were snarky. Bad numbers and rock bottom. Even the titles are snarky. When that didn't do the trick, I published 3 more in 2017. Death Spiral, Head Case, and Death and Taxes, all of them as snarky as their titles. That made KZYX blink and rethink their snark bait. See it drop? In 2018, I published 2 more stories, both of them snarky. Upside Down and Saving the Tigwa, snarky as fuck. In 2020, I published 2 more stories. Yes Man and Unsinkable Public Radio, Snark City. Now for the financial impact. KZYX struggled under all that snark bait until they finally caved. That was in 2017. Now for our second case study, the Mendocino Coast Healthcare Foundation. They were snark bait free for a while, starting in 2009. They started using it in 2013. They used it again in 2014 and then dropped it like a hot rock. In 2017, I ran 4 stories about them, all of them snarky. Foot wedges, good bylaws, jackpot, and mavericks. In 2023, I ran another story. This one's on YouTube, titled Queens of the Damned. Now for the financial impact. They started out strong. They jumped on snark bait in 2013 after some bad results the year before that. Revenue miraculously rebounded in 2013, while they continued with snark bait through 2014. Then they dumped the snark bait and continued. Now for case study number 3, the Mendocino Coast Hospitality Center, known by some as Hostility House. They run the table here. They got 2 snarks in 2017 with Highway 61 and Render Unto Caesar. They got another snark in 2019. It's called Robbing the Poor. And another one in 2020 called The Enablers. And another one in 2021 called Poorhouse Riches. Now for the financial impact. It looks like they're making bank. There's just one little problem. 94% of that money came from the federal government, and it's subject to cuts. That puts the onus on private donations. We'll just scoot through this. 2014 was a big year for them. They got a friggin' hotel that year as a private donation. And it's been downhill ever since. Look at 2023. That fell to almost an all-time low. Now for case study number 4, CASA of Mendocino County. It stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates. They got off to a bad start with snark bait and a snark in 2017. The story was called Child's Play. CASA is all about protecting disadvantaged children caught up in the criminal justice system. My story had no effect for a while. Until 2022. Then they finally got their shit together and cut the snark bait loose. They've been clean ever since. Let's see what the financial impact was. They were going great guns until 2022. Then they dropped the snark bait and funding dropped. Or did it? Let's take a peek at private donations and see what happened. Here we go. They dumped the snark bait in 2023 as private donations were going south. Look what happened then and the following year. Here we have case study number 5, Parents and Friends, serving the developmentally disabled. They started out with snark bait back in 2008. what you'd call an early adopter. That adoption didn't go so well. They ditched the Snark Bait in 2009. Look what happened then. They couldn't keep the snarks away. Got a couple in 2019. House of Pain and Serve Yourself. Real snarky stuff. That was the end of Snark Bait for parents and friends. Let's see how that worked for them financially. Snark Bait wasn't exactly helping them. Let's see what getting rid of it did to their bottom line. Dumping the Snark Bait didn't hurt the parents and friends piggy bank, and the snarks didn't hurt them either. Here's case study number 6, the Kelley House Museum, Mendocino's most beloved nonprofit. They started out with no Snark Bait. That was in 2012. Then they tried Snark Bait in 2017. Until 2021, then they got snarked twice in 2022 and changed their tune. That was the end of Snark Bait for the Kelley House Museum. 2 stories might have helped that along. Outsiders and Prince of Wales. Nobody knows for sure. They're on the straight and narrow now with no Snark Bait. Let's see if there was any financial impact. Here we go. Not sure about you, but I see no financial impact, one way or the other. Now we have case study number 7 with the Mendocino Coast Botanical Gardens. They started out with Snark Bait too in 2009. They stuck with it for 5 years. Until 2014. That's when they threw in the towel. They've been without Snark Bait ever since, and without snarks too. Now for the financial impact. We'll just breeze this. There's modest growth with Snark Bait, and better growth without. Now we've got case study number 8, the Native Media Resource Center, public radio station KGUA, with wall-to-wall Snark Bait. And no snarks. Now for the financial impact. Here we go. No snarks here, but no growth either. It's all loss. Last but not least, case study number 9, the Mendocino Performing Arts Company, also known as the Mendocino Theater Company. And away we go. "14 years of non-stop Snark Bait with no snarks." Now let's see how that worked out for them financially. We'll just let her rip. It looks like impact grew with Snark Bait, and that its growth was pretty impressive. Then it shrank a little. Now let's look at endowments, funds that are restricted by donors for specific purposes. Everything starts out okay with $20,000 in the bank. When it all vanished. We'll have a look at the most likely suspect, payroll. Here we go. That's probably what happened to the endowment. It all went to payroll. If you're thinking about using Snark Bait, you'll want to know about the supply. Here it is. Only 1% of Mendocino County's nonprofits have it. So get it while you can. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring.